3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Unlearned and Reborn, a podcast where old habits are unlearned and new ones are reborn. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's me, your girl, your sis, your friend, Shania Alyse, the host of this wonderful bomb podcast, if I do say myself. Welcome back to another episode of Unlearn and Reborn. We are here, okay? Let's get into it. So, I feel like this is a very hot topic about friends. Like, friends has just really been a hot topic lately, just on social media, period. So, my very first episode, throwback, was the hard truth about friends, and that video has the most views so far. So I'm like, let me run that back and dig a little deeper. Can I do that? Let's do that. So today I want to talk to you about the types of friends, like personality types that you can have. Maybe you currently have friends like this. Maybe you had friends in the past like this. Or it's okay, sis, but maybe you are even this friend. But that's okay. You know we don't judge here. I want to help you. I just want to talk. Can we talk? Come on. So I found that I'm 26. I've had a lot of friendships in 26 years. I really have. I've had friendships that lasted a couple months, friendships that have lasted a year or two, and then friendships that have lasted a couple of years. My longest friendship is my best friend, Noraya. We have been best friends since November 21st, 2008. Got the tattoo to prove it. Hello, let it be known. So, and that has been my longest friendship. So friends for me have always been a something that I've held very close to my heart because I grew up moving around a lot. I've mentioned in a couple of the episodes. So when I made a friend, like if I called you my friend, you were my girl. You were my dude. Like we were like this. Like I just got back in contact with a very, very good high school best friend of mine. And we were just talking and I was just like, bruh, it's so crazy how life happens, right? Like it's no love loss. I've never thought anything negative towards you, but it's like, bro, like we just really don't talk anymore. And it was just so nice to catch up with him and just to see like, dang, like, life, like we're both parents now. Like it's just crazy. And I found that I encountered people, different types of personality types, which is why I wanted to do this episode today, because a lot of times we look for friends that are like us. Either maybe you want pretty girls, you want girls that are in sports like you, girls that lift like you, girls that are into makeup, whatever the case may be. You look for similarities in friendships, but today I kind of want to dig a little deeper into the personality types that don't necessarily mix and say maybe you're making accommodations for this person and deep down like, bruh, like she got one more time to do this thing or he got one more time and that's it. So just know you are not alone. Like I said, I've had many, many friendships in my 26 years. I don't even remember like my childhood friends. I wonder what they're doing today. But I've learned to adapt. Okay, so I promise you today's episode is gonna be a goodie. If you got a pen and paper, it's cool to take notes. But if you're just listening on the go, you can play it back, and you could just hear me talk again. So the first type of friend. First, before I even get into that, I want to define friendship. To me, a friendship is a bond between people that is meant to bring growth, stability, and change to a person's life or their environment. That was good. That was a good one. I'm going to say it again. How I define friendship is a bond between people that is meant to bring growth, stability, and change to a person's life and or their environment. So some of you may be listening and saying, man, That's my homegirl. Like, that's her. Like that TikTok sound that says her. Like, that's her. That's literally my homegirl. Like, you're talking about her. That's her. And then some of y'all, you might be like, ooh, run that back because I have a friend or two that does not fit the description. What's going on? You're not alone. You're not. Friendships can evolve over time, right? And that's not a bad thing because even my best friend, Naraya, that we've been best friends since 2008, we are not the same that we were when we first met. For the most part, we are the same. Like, we are goofy. People that went to high school with us, y'all know how we was acting. We still like that. We're just big kids. But dynamics have changed as far as how much we communicate. She's a truck driver now. I'm married with children. Like, dynamics and friendship changes. But something that should stay consistent no matter if you're 20, 25, or 30 is your character. And oftentimes, people's character, we think that, oh, it's just them, they're going through time. But it's their character is now starting to come into question. And that is when you really have to pump the brakes and say, hold up now. It's one thing to go, I went through a period of depression. I've gone through a period where I'm just like, don't nobody talk to me. I'm going ghost. I holler at y'all and I holler at y'all. Seasonal, stuff. But when your character starts to change, you have to really ask yourself, okay, am I even being a quality friend right now? Okay, let's get into it. So I noticed 3 types of personality types. I'm sure there's more, but these are the 3 that I could really think of that I'm like, man, yes, let's talk about it. So the first one I want to talk about is the personality trait of being a leech. I call it the leech. So, I like to define stuff. So for me, a leech is someone or something that drains your energy and has no intention or desire to replenish it. So that's, how you're on your phone all day, especially me, content creating. I stay on my phone no, I'm better. I'm on my phone a lot, but I'm not like locked in, like head down on my phone unless I'm posting or interacting. But so imagine me using my phone all day, draining it down to 15%. And Apple, shout out to y'all for the low battery mode because it be saving your girl. When I know I'm nowhere near a charger, I'm like, oh crap. Let me put this thing in low battery. But imagine me draining the battery and then me just leaving the phone on my bedside nightstand and just, expecting my phone to just go back to 100%. No, you have to charge it. But someone with the personality trait of a leech, they have no intentions of recharging you. They have no intentions of pouring back into the friendship. They have no or little to no intentions because sometimes leeches can kind of go up and down. They have moments of where they're leeching and moments of where they're, okay, I'm going to pour back into you. Again, I'm going to keep reiterating that you want to look at their history. You want to look at how they have been performing in a sense. Like, yeah, we get our corporate jobs and we are okay with the boss man or our supervisor evaluating us. Sis, you need to do the same thing with people that are in your life. There is nothing wrong with that. You need to take notes. And I'm not saying you now what we're not going to do is be nitpicking and literally be writing down every favor, writing down every time you looked out. No. I'm saying you want to look at time, like, milestones, have you, things like, life-changing events. When they had their baby, did they invite you? When they got married, were you invited to the wedding? A lot of people say, oh, well, girl, stuff happens. And that's true. But I'm telling you, I used to just overlook so much stuff in friendships until I got in therapy and I really had to take a step back. And my therapist was like, wait a minute. No, that person was not being a good friend to you. And you let it slide. What's going on? And I'm like, oh, but I mean, and I want to make sure that I even mention this, that leeching does not always have to be monetary. Oh, let me get a couple dollars. No. Leeching, it don't even have to be tangible. Like I mentioned, leeching can be them taking away your energy. They are constantly emotionally dumping on you. That drains your energy over time. Consistently. That's what I'm going to keep saying. We're not talking about something that happens once every now and again. I'm judging this off of somebody that does this action consistently, like clockwork. And I did not initially realize, like, wait a minute, because I'm thinking monetary. I'm like, okay, girl, they don't be asking me for money. They don't be bothering me about this. No, sweetie, but they're draining you to the point of your energy's low. And even if you do have some energy left over after the conversation with them or after letting them just emotionally dump on you, you come home and you are like 10% use to your family. Like, I'm butting heads with my spouse. I have low patience with my children. Wait a minute. No. Because at the end of the day, if I don't have energy to, be with my family and, pour into my children, pour into my spouse, then I have to start looking at my priorities. Why am I prioritizing this friendship before my household? You got to ask yourself that. Like, you really got to ask yourself. I'm upbeat. And I realized that, it's because I'm typically the friend that does not mind to give advice. I'll let you talk. Okay, sis, have you tried this? Walking it through to you. But even in that, I realized the abusiveness, even in that, because you're consistently pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring, and you're not getting poured back into. Or if you're like me and you have a spouse, you then are requiring, extra from your spouse. And they're probably like, wait, bro, where is this coming from? And it's because you're depleting yourself from a friendship. You're depleting yourself from someone that, is just take, and they're not giving. They say things like, man, like, or you really just be, you be knowing the right things to say. Like, man, like when I see you, bro, like, my whole day it's changed. Like, and I used to feel so privileged, like, oh, you rock with me. But I'm telling you, therapy must have smacked me dead in between the nose. Like, no, ma'am. That is not honoring yourself. That is not being prioritizing you first. You are putting this person before you. And this is not even your spouse. This is not your child. No. Energy exchange is okay. It's necessary. There should be an exchange of energy. However, energy exchange is okay when it is mutual and it's beneficial. When it's mutual and beneficial, because you could still be exchanging energy and it's just negative. Y'all just sitting in a pool of negativity. You want to make sure that energy is mutual. Like, and I'm not even trying to be all deep and everything. No, but when you have a positivity about yourself, a confidence about yourself, baby, best believe that is an energy. And you will, every time that you link up with somebody, you are then giving them like a energy hug. So imagine everybody that you encounter with throughout the day, y'all are just hugging each other, and y'all are swapping, energies, swapping, attitudes, swapping, belief systems. Man, if you are not careful, you will be walking around here all types of messed up. Like, imagine you putting your money in the bank and then you go to withdraw and they're like, yeah, sorry, no, you don't have the rights to that. You're going to be like, I will call the police. Are you crazy? What you got going on over here? I need a manager right now. Like, it's so funny because stuff like that, we wouldn't think twice. The bank don't want to give you, the bank is acting funny. You going to move that money to another institution. But we give people so many chances. And even from a Christian standpoint, right? I struggled with that because I thought God would be upset with me if I set a boundary. Imagine that. I don't want people to walk all over me anymore. God is going to zap me. He about to strike me down. No. And I'm so thankful that I had a Christian therapist and she was, baby, no, that is not how that works. You have to guard yourself Because if you are allowing any and everything to just come into your space, come into your bubble, you are going to be cluttered with everybody else's stuff. We were never meant to carry other people's burdens. If you want to get, technical with it, yes, the scripture does say he will not put more on us than we can bear. But don't you think he had us in mind when he thought how much we could bear? Yes, there are going to be seasons where you do take on the load of your spouse. You do take on the load of your children, your best friend, your sibling, your parents. But it was never meant for us to carry for longevity. I don't believe that. Maybe other people do, and that's your conviction. But for me personally, I've tried it, and I was doing it for a while, carrying the burden of someone else. And I found that that's why I was so weak. That's why I felt so without energy, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, my life is just overwhelming. I can't do life anymore because I'm trying to live my life, but I am paying for the consequences of someone else's choices. No, you can't do that. Stop giving away your energy for free. It cost you. The energy cost you. So why are you giving it away for free? No, make them pay for that. Obviously, you're not going to say, okay, that's $5. But no, make them reciprocate. And if they cannot, you can't make them, but require that in your friendship. Like it's not always going to be you dumping. It's not always going to be you, coming to me with drama. I would like for our relationship. How was your day? How is your goals going? You start requiring, and when that person, and they'll show you if they can meet the requirements. And if they can't, I'm going to tell you to let them go. So we just talked about the leech. I dealt with the stone thrower. What you mean? I know y'all know the analogy of the person throwing the rock and then hiding their hand like, I don't even know who threw it. Y'all, I put this person in the category of pretty much not wanting to have accountability. How many of y'all have ever been talking to your homegirl and she's telling you about her situation and you thinking like, sis, but you was in the wrong though? How many of y'all say that they were in the wrong right then and there, or do you wait until they finished and they get through their, they story and they crying and they whatever they doing to tell them like, okay, sis, but you was kind of wrong? Or how many of y'all don't even say anything at all? Like, I've been all three. I've been the one that's like, oh, but no, ma'am, you can't do that. Then I'll be the person that lets you get it all out and be like, okay, sis, you were wrong. And then, yep, I haven't said anything at all. So accountability is important for a friendship. And I talked about this in a previous episode. Oh yeah, the first episode, the hard truth about friends. I talked about this, and definitely if you would like to go listen to it, do that, but don't leave yet. Do it after this. And I talked about how accountability is necessary for growth in a friendship because it allows you to be vulnerable enough to admit that you are not perfect. What? Me? I'm not perfect? Are you kidding? Wait a minute. So you mean when I wake up and I'm just beautiful and flawless as ever, I brush my teeth, I look in the mirror like, dang, girl, you did that. God made a masterpiece. You telling me I'm going to still make mistakes? You're telling me that I'm not going to be 100% at all times? Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. A stone thrower is a person that will blame the consequences of their actions on others. And they have no intention of taking any of the responsibility. I'm telling you, like, this was a very frustrating personality trait that I would encounter in friendships because I felt like almost angry with the person in a sense because I felt like, I'm trying to help you. I'm really trying to be understanding here, but it doesn't make sense to me how you are not able to see that your actions is what got you to this place. And then I started to feel like I was consistently having negative responses. So that's when I got to the third thing where I said, you know what? I don't even say anything at all. Oh, okay. That kind of thing. And even in that, I started to feel like the friendship was just becoming kind of like in my mouth. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just start distancing myself. You know, I'm really working on now, really vocalizing, that directly to people. And, I've been doing, all right. I really haven't had any instances, where I've had to do that, honestly, like honest to goodness. But, or recently I haven't. But, you know, I found it a challenge because, okay, so initially, I hated accountability in a sense because I felt like it made me feel ashamed that I had a fault. It made me feel ashamed that, dang, I didn't do it, perfect. I didn't do it. It wasn't a 10. It was only an 8.5. Like, dang, man, dang, you know? And an example of that is I did make a mistake in a friendship, right? I withheld information that I felt like, and even they felt like, they should have known because it would have helped them. It would have helped their personal relationship. And, I said, okay, and I explained why I withheld the information. And that was the first time in a while that I felt like it was a slap in the face being accountable. Because do you know, instead of them saying, you know what, even though, I don't really rock with your reasoning, I can appreciate the fact that, you owned up to it. Do you know the person still turned around and continued to throw the stones. Yeah, but I really feel some type of way about it. And, I just felt like you could have done this and you could have done that. Hold on. My thing is this, though. Again, let's be for real. So you're telling me only my doing is what got you to the stop sign. You didn't walk there. You didn't take an Uber there. You didn't lift there. You didn't ride your bike there. You didn't drive nothing. You just opened your eyes and you ended up at the stop sign. I beg to differ, because accountability it's a twofold thing. Both people have to, even if you were the one that was offended, still evaluate the situation and even look. I'm not saying that you always have to take the blame, even when you know that you did not do anything. But there are times where accountability is twofold, where, yes, it may have been something that I've done, but you may have also done something to contribute to the issue. But see, a stone thrower will only say you. They truly believe that they have not contributed to their consequence. And no, we need to be more accountable. We need to be adults in the situation, because to me, that is more of a childlike approach. And I get it. Everybody's not there yet. I've gotten to this point because of a therapy and being accountable with my therapy. Because you could take therapy all day and not do a doggone thing the therapist says. But I really took my journey serious, and I have become more accountable. Am I perfect? No. But even when my husband will call me out on something, like I was so proud of myself a couple of days ago, and he said I responded snappy, and I said, you know what, you're right. And I explained then, I said, I'm really stressed about this new equipment that I'm trying to work with. I don't really know how to use it. I'm sorry. It's not you. I'm frustrated with the equipment. 2018, Shania? Well, I'm stressed about this, and you didn't ask me about all this other stuff. Again, throwing stones. I've even been a stone thrower before. But it's like, when you have a decision to make, you are either going to allow the person to continue to throw the stones at you, or you're going to call it out. Like, hey, look at your hand. You have stones in your hand right now, and I don't appreciate you throwing the stones at me. And I would love to tell you that when I said that, or in that example that I gave y'all earlier, I did not. I actually didn't say. I said, you know what? I need a couple of days to process this, because I feel very frustrated. And, I had no intentions of being frustrated like this today. So let me take a couple of days. And I took a couple of days, and that's when I really had understood. Like I said, I had the two choices of point it out or let them keep throwing. And I guess there's a third thing of just, not responding at all. And that's more of the route. Like I texted back and I said, hey, I'm good now. We're good. And I said, I will do better with, on my part, with, if I know something to, go ahead and say it. And their response was, don't worry about it. If you can't, be that in my life, I don't need anybody in my life that, they can't, pretty much they can't come through for me in a nutshell. I don't exactly remember what the person said. And that thing crushed me. It really did, because I felt like, wow, I did everything that I knew right to do, and I still got rejected. And see, oftentimes it's so glossed over how hurtful rejection is in friendships. Like I know, because I talked to my husband about it, and he was like, man, it's so crazy that, the difference between men and women, because dudes can have a falling out and they just, if it's fine, they dap it up and be fine. He was like, but women, he was like, man, y'all really take that thing to heart. And I was like, I think it's truly because our nurturing spirit that God gave us. And it depends on what type of friend you are. Like, I'm a very involved friend. If I say you're my friend, you're my friend. And I really have a care for you. This person had been around my children. This person had been in my house. I just don't let everybody in my house. Like, I just don't let everybody around my children. So it literally felt like, something had been cut from literally from my chest. I felt that much pain. But again, I always say through therapy, y'all, therapy was so amazing to really help me on how to overcome things like heartbreak and overcome that situation, because my therapist was like, you cannot make people accept your apology. That's the first thing. Once you master that, you become better at apologizing, because you apologize from a place of, I am apologizing for this, so I'm being accountable. And then 2, I am just, I'm sorry for the way that, you end up feeling. And this is what I plan to do from now on. Your apologies change from trying to apologize to get that person's acceptance, because sometimes you apologize or you take accountability like I did. And then what? Guess what? The friendship doesn't get fixed. Like, and I dealt with that thing for months afterwards, just thinking and just, how could I have done it better? And, oh my gosh, I should have told them the information. And just, I then started to think I was a bad person from it. I mean, that thing had really crushed my confidence and my ability to be a good friend, because I had wrapped all of that into this person, and not even just only specifically this person, but that's how I was carrying myself in friendships. I'm only as good of a friend as you think I am. And that's not the case. You are a good friend when you are accountable and you have a track record and you have good character. Like I said, mistakes are going to happen, but just understand that to avoid being a stone thrower, you have to be accountable. So if you don't do it, if accountability is hard, baby steps. When someone brings something to you, ask yourself, are they really telling you the truth? Or is it something that, they may be projecting on you? Like, if you can start allowing, critiques from credible sources, everybody, a lot of people are going to have stuff to say, and you just going to have to brush it off, oh well. But, understand that when you become accountable, you open the door for improvement. You open the door for newness, even another layer of friendship. If the bond can be mended. Like, I felt like in the past when I have done that, and the person's like, it's good, it's okay, or it was me that had to accept the apology, the friendship just went to another level. I was just like, oh, like, you're really my girl. We can really be cool. Okay, that was a long thing, but okay, let me tell you about the next personality trait. You ready? Come on. So the next personality trait I call this person the flake. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to define it, but I'm going to do it anyway. A flake is a person that you invite to the event, and no matter what, rain, snow, sleet, sunshine, this person is going to have a reason as to why they could not show up for you. And like, I'm laughing because, bruh, some of the excuses that I've heard, y'all, I just be like, nothing happened to the podcast. That's just me sitting there like, you cannot be serious right now. And, you thought me overcoming the stone thrower was hard? Baby girl, put your seatbelt on, because me overcoming the flake was even harder. Because I'm such a nice person, and I'm such an, I have this really sometimes unrealistic, like, acceptance of people, like seeing the good in people. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I just see just ever the just the ever glow over people. And oh my gosh, like you said that you do music, and oh my gosh, I can see so much. I can see a whole album, 2 albums, 3 albums. You have a clothing line. Wow, I can see your stuff on New York and New York Fashion Week. I can see, I mean, like, I'm just a visionary. So, somebody tells me they dream, I'm literally like visualizing it happening for them. I can see that you're going to have that beautiful family, that beautiful husband, that beautiful house, that car, all of that. Whole time the person is like, wait a minute, I was just talking. But it's like, listen, if I'm your friend, I'm gonna hype you up, and you need friends like that, but that's besides the point. I kept giving these people the benefit of the doubt. The people that flaked, I would say, oh, but life, especially I got real bad with it, real bad during quarantine, because I just kept saying, especially, and then when stuff started opening back up, oh, well, people are just trying to get back out, come back out of their houses, life is happening to everybody. And, to the point where I dang near started feeling awkward about like how I was feeling. Like, wait a minute, you flaked on me, but I see on your Snapchat that you're out partying it up the next night, or, partying it up hours. The same night me and you were supposed to go do something, you're out doing your thing with a girl and a boy, but you just told me you wasn't feeling well, and you just told me you didn't have the time to. It's not mathing. 2 and 2 is not mathing. So either you had a miraculous recovery, and sis, tell me what was inside of the medicine ball tea, or I don't even know. I don't know, but it's like I had to ask myself, what about you? You keep taking these people back into your life. You keep making all these excuses and exceptions for this person. What about you? You show up. You're dependable. When they invite you, you go. When they are going through something, you drop what you were doing. You dropped what you were doing. Literally in the middle of doing something with my husband. Oh my gosh, so-and-so needs me, babe. I'm gonna have to be. You did, like, come on now. I said earlier about the character, the consistency of a person. I come through. And I had to even look at this. I would understand if I'm like, listen, all my friends, they have to have $1 million in the bank, and they have to have a Porsche in the driveway. Those are the minimums. Baby, I'm asking you to fulfill the lunch date. I'm asking you to show up at Target so, we can hang out for a little bit. I'm asking you to come through so we can go out. This about, I'm at basic stuff. We planned it. I asked, you said yes. We planned it for this time. You flake. Or you invite me. I'm waiting for the address. You flake. Like, these are just point A to point B type things. And it's like people that have the flake personality trait, they don't see an issue with it. They will then almost, I've seen it twofolds, where they're like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm just not a good planner. Okay, cool. If I want to deal with it, cool. If I don't, chunk the deuces. Whatever. It is what it is. But then there's the other person that's a little bit more on the toxic end. to where they try to make you feel like it's something wrong with you because you feel like what they're doing is not okay. Like, baby girl, you're wasting my time. Like, point blank, period. That's where we're at now. My time is being wasted. I don't like that. So I want you to do better. And if you cannot do better, this is where my next steps are. Like, I feel like it's so crazy to me with women in friendships because we can be direct about so many other things. We the boss lady at the job. Oh yeah, I'm a boss girl. I'm a boss. But baby, when it comes to being, stating how we feel, women, we be shrinking. We become this little 7-year-old girl that's just like, I don't want to rock any waves. I don't want to tip the boat. Excuse me, mic check 1 2. Tip it over. If no one has told you, tip over the boat. Because if your friendship cannot withstand you stating how you feel, baby girl, drop it now. Drop it now, because life is going to do what life does, and that friendship is going to be shambles before you know it. Like, of course, me and my best friend, when we were, younger and we were in high school and we were around each other all the time, texting, calling, hanging out, everything. Oh my gosh, yes, best friend, you, me, yes. When you saw her, you saw me. But as time went on, and especially when I went off to the military, like, that was the longest time we had been apart. And still, when we visited, when I first saw her, I didn't see her for a while after I graduated. I probably saw her like, I don't know, maybe 5 months later. It was literally like no time had passed. It was so like, and that's just how it is with us. It was just like no time had passed. I'm telling you, mutually beneficial. Mutually beneficial. I said, man, I don't be flaking. There's times where I literally will move my schedule around to make sure that I can make it to this thing. Because I'm like, okay, we haven't hung out in a while. I really want to hang out with you. And they can't do that for you. No, sis, you have to start paying attention to that. Everybody has a different, a different scale where they say, okay, no, this is where I draw the line. A lot of people have more give, but listen, y'all, when I tell y'all I had a lot of room, and it's like, I'm not saying I have my friendships on a short leash now, but it's a lot that I just do not tolerate anymore. And you just have to come to that point where you ask yourself, for this to be, for me to create a mutually beneficial friendship, I have to start saying what I will and will not tolerate anymore. Therapy had taught me that I was creating friendships based off of the root of abandonment. So I wanted to be needed. So yes, you could keep not showing up for me. I needed a friend. I needed you to be my friend. So I thought. So I would overlook that. Oh, that's fine. I would overcompensate so many times for people, knowing good and well that what they did hurt my feelings, y'all. But I would just overlook it because I struggled with abandonment. I struggled with rejection. Baby girl, listen, if you were like me and you struggle with abandonment or rejection, understand that there are people that will befriend you that will not make you feel that way. That is not a normal aspect of friendship. When people drop you and stop showing up for you, or they half show up for you, that is not normal. You don't have to become accustomed to a half warmed over friendship. You don't like your food half warm, so don't take a friendship half warm. No. There are people that will literally flourish your dreams, flourish your life. Be there for you at your baby shower. Be there for you at your graduation. And they genuinely care for you with no envy, no jealousy. No, I'm trying to, I'm just with you until you fall and fall on your face. No. And women, we have that bad in friendships. Oh, well, girl, the world don't revolve around you. No, it doesn't revolve around you, but you're in my world. I made space for you in my world. So the least you could do is show up for me. I had to realize that, no, I was not asking for too much. I was not asking for too much in a friendship. You just can't deliver. And that's hard. It was hard because I realized, man, when I made that distinction, it was so many people that I had to cut off, y'all. I would love to tell you it was one or two. No, I'm talking like 10, to 12 people that I just had to just completely, just over time, just distance myself from. Because I said, I sat here and made a pro and cons list, and baby, the cons were just down the list of all the times that you didn't come through for me, all the times that you oh girl, it was just a last minute thing, oh girl, it was a last minute thing, but I'm paying attention again, I'm not even, at first I wasn't even trying to read too deep into it, but then once I started peeping, like, wait a minute, you keep saying it was a last minute thing, but it's always y'all, and I don't get invited? No, I was looking for that affirmation, looking for that affirmation within the friendship that I just want to know that I'm worthy enough for a good friend. Sis, you are. But when you have people that will not reciprocate what you're giving out, it will eventually diminish your ability to be that friend that you want to be, because you've been accepting below where your standard is. It is 10 out of 10 okay to have a friendship standard, sis. You want that because you don't want to be everybody's friend. You're not for everybody. I know that you may want to be accepted by these friends. You may want to be in this group. Oh my gosh, man. They look like they have so much fun on social media. They go on trips. I want to be in that group. You can create that with the people that you actually would want to be around, because who knows what happens when that camera turn off. I told y'all, girls be going to Miami and only 2 of them come back friends. You want that? I know you don't want that. I know you don't. So you can affirm yourself within your friendship by making sure that you are honoring yourself. Honor you. You are worth honoring. You don't allow people to walk all over you when they consistently flake on you, when they are leeches, when they throw stones. Baby, you got to wake up, and you got to be honest with yourself and say, is this beneficial to me? And if the answer is no, I got you on the next part. I'm going to tell you what you should do and how you can get through that. Come on. This is good. We're talking. So the first thing I had to do was acknowledge that I had become comfortable with these 3 traits being in my life. That was hard in therapy, because I said, man, wow, this whole time I just thought life was happening to me. Like I said in the last episode, I just thought life was doing its thing. But I had to realize life is happening, but there are some things that we are allowing to transpire in our life, and then we blame life. Oh, life is just so hard. You don't have to keep these people around. You don't have to keep accepting friends that are like this. It's just like on social media, where you have a choice to follow the person back or accept their friend. Do that in real life. Maybe I looks at the profile. I looks at the mutual friends, because your friend circle says a lot about you. So if I see that someone is in your mutuals that I don't necessarily fancy, what? I'm not about to accept your friend request. Like, especially if it's a lot of them, because my tingly senses is telling me that they sent you. So no, I'm not answering that friend request. It's about to sit there and dust for all I care. Grow mode. I don't care. No. So I had to be accountable with saying that, Shania, Alyse, you became comfortable here. You became comfortable being dumped on emotionally. You became comfortable being leached from. You became comfortable with not being shown up for. That I had to admit that these traits were causing more harm than good, and accepting that that was not a normal behavior. That was not a normal friendship. That is not how normal friendships transpire. I show up for you, you show up for me. I vent to you, you can vent to me. You are having a tough time to where you have to emotionally dump. I have a tough time, I can emotionally dump. It's back and forth. The second step to that is understanding why I was attracting these type of people to me. Y'all, we love to say that, I just, I'm so aligned and I'm so this, listen, are you sure? Because people don't just attract themselves to you. I remember I went through a period of my life where I was attracting such needy people. And not just people, I just really need you here. I lost someone in my life. No, needy, toxic style needy people. Like, just take from me. Your attraction level, it says a lot about you, because the very thing that you are trying to run from, baby, that thing is going to attract itself to you. If I have abandonment issues with my father, then I get in a relationship. If I have not dealt with that abandonment issue, there is a high chance that I will attract a relationship mate that has issues with commitment. So then we both get into a relationship. I already have issues of abandonment. He has issues of commitment. Now I am making accommodations for him, with his issue with commitment and overextending myself. Now, before I know it, he's either one of the three types that I talked about. He's either a leech, he's either a stone thrower, or he's now become a flake. And no, it's not, I understand it's not so black and white like that, but I'm telling you, like, that attraction level that you have, it is going to attract people to you romantically and platonically. So be mindful of that. You always attracting people that are just bad with money. Like, what is going on? Like, you always need to borrow money from me. Like, what? You got to ask yourself, okay, is there something that I'm giving off, or is there something that I am allowing that I need to stop allowing? It's a constant cycle until it's broken. Therapy taught me that to break a cycle, I had to go beyond writing it in my journal, writing it on a sticky note, and reciting it every day. Baby, I had to work to break this cycle. I had to work to break the cycle of allowing people to come in and out of my life like my life was a revolving door, dusting their stuff off on the doormat and coming in. And some of them had their shoes on. No. You want to break the cycle, baby, you better be ready to work. You got to be ready to work. Cycles don't get broken from words. Yes, that's a start to start changing your confessions. But cycles break from work being put in. So you may be asking, okay, what do I do next? You said that these friendships are not serving me. Okay, cool. How can I make sure that the friendships that I'm in now or that I want to be in the future are currently serving me? The first thing that you want to make sure is that they are mutually beneficial. I know you can't see it. You might not be able to know it off the first couple of times of y'all hanging out. But trust me, over time, you will be able to do that. And if you already have friends, you're going to have to do a hard assessment about your current friendships and truly ask yourself, is this friendship mutually beneficial to me? How do you know? Look at, and I'm not saying, yes, in an analysis standpoint, yes, you are going to have to look at what you do versus what they do. So sorry. That's just how it's going to have to be for this segment of it. Look at the times where, big events, graduations, baby showers, marriage, promotions. How have they been present with you for that? Are they in the background? They still clapping, but maybe they don't really like the spotlight. Are they nowhere to be found? Are they standing right next to you? Yes, girl, clapping for. Look at that. And then say, okay, how do you show up for them in the same scenario or other scenarios? Are you coming through? Because I know I'm talking a lot about the other person not coming through, but are you doing that? Because if you are half-stepping, that can be a reason why you are attracting half-step friends. So mutually beneficial. Set concrete boundaries is the next step. I always talk about boundaries because that is the most mind-blowing and breakthrough moment that I had in therapy. Setting boundaries. When you are wronged or offended, speak up. Say something. Because sometimes, like I said if you're giving your friend the benefit of the doubt when y'all first start that friendship, that person may not know that they have offended you, or that may not be something that they found offensive. Like my husband, the way that he can talk sometimes, I'm like, babe, that's really harsh. He just, that's just how he honestly is. But that does not mean that I just suck it up and just say, oh, well, I'm just not going to tell him, here's my feelings. There are times where I let it go. But if it's something that is truly bothering me, you need to speak up. You need to say something. Boundaries are not tests on how much you can handle. That comes from a childlike mentality. Children, our kids, my two children, me and my husband's two children, they do that. You tell them don't touch it, they're literally like this. Like, okay. And kind of still inching towards it. That's a childlike mentality because they truly are testing your boundaries. Okay, when she say don't touch that, do she mean don't touch that? Or no, don't touch that? There's a difference. But as an adult, no. If someone sets a boundary, you should not cross it. And if you cross it, you need to understand that there are consequences for crossing that boundary. If somebody had hot breath, you wouldn't just, I don't know, some people might just muscle through it. The military, y'all, the military breathes some of the hottest breaths I have ever smelt in my life. So maybe you will stand there and just, muscle through it. But state where you are and what you will and will no longer allow. That is how you set a boundary. Once a boundary has been crossed that maybe was not set, okay, now we can talk. I don't like when you call me in the morning and I have to work in the morning. I understand before you may not have known that I work in the morning, but now I'm letting you know I work early in the morning. So we gonna have to, you can't call me early in the morning because that is my time where I need to, get my mind right for work. I need to settle in, whatever the case may be. Set the boundary, okay? The next thing, don't always expect closure. What? Ain't no way you said that. Yes. How can you make sure your friendships are serving you? Don't always expect closure. I used to be so focused on after the apology, okay, now I'm waiting. I'm literally sitting there like, all right, I'm waiting for this to be good now. We're going to go back to how we were. I'm waiting for closure. Or, comma, don't always expect closure, comma, don't always expect the other person to agree with, your stance on a situation. Because sometimes, unfortunately, the damage is not necessarily fixable. Or, the person does not want to fix it with you. It's not even that it's not fixable. They just might not be in a place where they're like, okay, girl, I can accept your apology. Cool. That's when you're going to have to learn how to walk away. You don't sit there and try to bend over backwards, let that person walk all over you, let that person, have their weight. No. You're going to have to learn how to let it go and let it go fully. Really let it go. Be accountable and acknowledge your weaknesses is another one. We all have weaknesses. Make sure that your friend is not trying to exploit those weaknesses and that they are working, with you with the weaknesses. If you know that, there's something that, people pleasing was one of my huge weaknesses. I did not want to rock the boat with people, so I'd rather walk around on eggshells. I was so nervous to state how I felt, y'all. Until one day, I said, you know what? I'm going to tip the boat, and I'm going to just see. And from then on, I really have gotten a lot better with saying, no, I'm going to say something. You are worth being able to say something about how you feel. And lastly, gauge each friendship on its own scale. This is really, really important. I cannot gauge my friendship of over 10 years to my friendship of over 2. Do I have some of the same principles? Absolutely. Do I have some of the same? I cannot talk. Do I have some of the same moral codes? Absolutely. Because like I told you earlier, situations may change, but your character is something that should more than likely, 9 times out of 10, stay the same. So gauge each friendship accordingly. The girls that I've met through the military are not on the same level like my best friend. And I don't compare them and try to make them to be. Because see, my military friends, they have seen a side of me that my best friend has never experienced because she was not with me when I was in the military. Some of them that have seen me, go through motherhood, she has not really seen me face to face on that aspect. So she hasn't seen it. So learn your friend. Learn to understand your friend. So that way when offenses happen, you're not so quick to just jump on them and just, oh, you just so blah, blah, blah. Like once you begin to learn a friend and understand a friend, you can gauge it better to where, okay, them not texting back is not the end of the world versus, girl, you just don't care about me. Girl, you always, no. Sometimes people really are busy. And I had to learn that the hard way. Like people really are busy. But again, track record, the character, the history. They might be busy, but do they still make some form of time for you? Whether that's a text call, FaceTime, Snapchat, Instagram, something. There are people that I literally be texting and on social media talking to back and forth. Like, I love that. Like, make time for your friends because you make time for everything else. So make time for them. And they are worth making time for. At the end of the day, time will tell who is for you and who is not. So don't think that you got to take out your magnifying glass, be Sherlock Holmes, an FBI agent, and have your best friend follow that page. I've been there. Sis, okay, get you a best friend, don't ask no questions. Baby girl was like, what's the name? I'll make a new page right now. Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, I'll follow him right now. You don't have to be an FBI agent because guess what? What is done in the dark, baby, it's coming to the light. I promise you that. Listen, you're not going to get nothing by me. You might walk by me, but you ain't going to get by me. I don't even know what that means. But, like when you go to digging, you're going to find something. I've learned that. When you dig, you're going to find something. Even if it's not necessarily up to par with exactly what you thought it was going to be, you're going to find something to be upset about. Like something is going to piss you off and now you arguing. Give folks the benefit of the doubt until they have shown that they cannot be trusted. Then you can be like, okay, hold on. Now we're going to have to put some in place, put a little bit of boundaries here and here because, I really don't rock. I can't rock with that no more. Sometimes, after I had been hurt a couple of times in friendships, I didn't realize that I was kind of guarding myself and kind of bracing myself for the next blow. Like, oh, that hurt. I was bracing myself. And it's like, that's understandable when you have been hurt in friendships before. But just understand that the gray cloud is going to eventually pass. But you have to first acknowledge that the gray cloud is there. 2, acknowledge that it might bring rain. And 3, acknowledge and understand that it will not stay there always. There are seasons. There's night and day. Other things will come and the rain cloud will go. And if all else fails and you have to do this, incorporate the strike system. 3 strikes you out. Like, some people might not agree, but hey, listen, sometimes it's necessary. And, this might be implemented after the person has continuously, done the offense. And you're like, you know what? My patience is running thin. 3 strikes. If that's what you got to do, hey, listen, I'm here to tell you, I support you. I do. Okay? How y'all like the pod? How y'all like the conversation? Listen, I would love for y'all to interact more in the comments. So if you listened and you agreed with something that I said, or you wanted, me to expand on something, listen, hop on YouTube, holla at your girl. I'm nice. I will talk back. I promise you. Okay? Listen, if you're watching on YouTube or even if you're listening, I need you to come over to YouTube and comment under my pinned comment. It's going to ask you this question. Out of these 3 personality traits, which one do you identify with most? The stone thrower, or let me say them in order. I'm sorry. Which one do you identify with the most? Do you identify with the leech, the stone thrower, or the flake? Let me know in the comments. And extra credit, extra bonus, if there's another trait that you've dealt with that I didn't discuss, please holla at your girl. Let me know. Because like I said, I know it's more, but I just, those are just the ones that I've experienced. Okay, so definitely, I would love for y'all to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Our family is growing. I'm so excited that all of y'all here and y'all be coming back and y'all be rocking with me. It's amazing. I love it. I love y'all. Please follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow our Facebook page. All of the socials should be in the description. And if it's not, y'all can call me out about it and I'm going to do better. And if you'd like to donate, the Jar of Love, that's in the description. It's in my link tree. It helps keep the pod going. It shows your love for the pod. I love that y'all like and y'all comment and y'all subscribe. But, that's another form of showing love and I appreciate it. And yeah, listen, we got this. You got this. I know you do. Okay? I love you and I will talk to you next week. Okay? Peace.